All right. Another critical, most important topic for pharmacists and pharmacy and healthcare network and healthcare providers, pain management. So, hello everyone, how is everything? Thank you for having us here again, and they said fireside chat. I'll take that as a waterside chat. I'm okay with that. And yeah, it's a very important topic for pharmacists. We are under the radar by DA, FDA. We are the police. We are the gatekeepers for pain management. I'd like Minaj start and introduce herself. And
thank you so much for having both of us here, of course. I think the approach in pain management on this panel is very interesting, is that we have a medical, pharmaceutical approach and the practical day-to-day business approach of our community's response to opioid disorder, which really comes from the mismanagement of pain and the fact that a lot of our clients, a lot of our residences in elderly care homes try to manage their own pain the same way that they try to manage their wound care. And unfortunately, that has led to the current opioid disaster in our communities and the overdoses that we see. I have first-hand knowledge because as the CEO of housing, we provide shelters for the unhoused, and a lot of our unsheltered population deal with addiction and mental health, and a lot of that actually starts with trying to treat themselves for pain. So I'm so thrilled to be here with you talking about this, bringing the scientific values and really the responsibilities. Where does it fall? On the patient or the doctor?
Also the family. Patient, doctor, and the family. When it comes to pain management, especially for seniors, as they age, they become like babies because their metabolism goes down. Their sensitivity to drugs increases. So it is very important both the doctors, patient, and family know what's the cause of the pain. That's where we start from.
That is such a value proposition that you just mentioned, especially in the elderly adult. At Viva Valley, where I'm the chair of their advisory board, we invested in this company because one of the things that they did is developing a proprietary software so that they can do a symptom tracking of pain. And recently I had a fall. As you can see, I'm not that young anymore, but when I had the fall, I started having headaches. And I kept telling my doctor, I have headaches. But when? How many times? Which part of my head? So I started putting a graph myself and pointing out here, there. And we have actually now been able to create a proprietary software where we can allow the patients and the seniors to go in and identify when they have pain, how much, what level of pain, and share that with their doctor so that they don't get overdosed or underdosed.
Correct. Very true, yes. Logging, maintaining a daily log helps, especially for seniors too. And as a pharmacist, as a person who understands the impact of tiny little chemical molecules at cellular level, I'm very cautious when when a prescription for patient comes for pain. The main cause could be an inflammation that needs to be addressed as well. Most of the time I see prescriptions coming only for pain management, but the root cause is missing. And also other thing is, yes, I do not stop patients from taking prescription. We try to manage them first with non-pharmacological interventions. But if needed, we do advise, So pain is 4 different types: musculoskeletal pain, like, inflammation from rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory pain, like osteoarthritis, fibromyalgia, and then neuromuscular pain from diabetes. Yes, we discussed about your husband. And another pain is unknown reasons, like trauma, surgical pain, cancer pain. So based on these categories, categorizing them, knowing what is causing the pain, how we always tell them you can take pain medication, but at the same time, include non-pharmacological interventions too.
It's interesting that, most of the market is looking at pain medication. What do you, doctor, think about holistic approach or phyto-based products like cannabis? That has been, our research shows that over the age of 60, 90% of the patients prefer non-opioid, non-FDA products like cannabis to control their pain. What is your thought about that?
Absolutely. I do follow holistic approach. I myself have fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed when I delivered my second one, long time, 2010 I got diagnosed. And doctors right away wanted to put me on, nothing wrong, that is their practice, wanted to put me on DMARDs, the disease-modifying, rheumatoid drugs. But I know inside me what mistake I'm doing. I know, I'm not, because I just delivered a baby, I'm busy with my new roles. I was juggling so many things, first child, second child, just a barely minimum gap. But I said, you know what, give me 2 years' time. I will do holistic approach because I also have an Ayurveda certificate. I also trained in psychological behavior. So I changed my diet. I follow anything that can help minimize the pain sensitivity. Do it, go for it. Like cannabis, yes, FDA is struggling to approve it. They're still struggling to analyze it, get the data. But if it helps, I have a cancer patient, she takes it. She also adds another opioid, but still, she doesn't need to be too much on the opioid. So if it is helping, why not? Anything that helps you. At that age of 60, what we want to see is they have basic privileges, they have a comfort. Why let them suffer? The risk versus benefits, not at that age when they're in severe pain and debilitating pain and they cannot even get up, So mental health impacts.
That's very true. And I think, what do you think about the younger adults? Because it seems to me that the younger adults are getting hooked on these pain medications, not purely because of pain, but a different type of psycho pain, depression, anxiety. What are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. Education and knowledge, how to empower them. That's where, we as a pharmacist, we tell the doctors, and we also have a comprehensive medication therapy management. I'm certified in medication therapy management. So we have conference calls with physical therapists, psych therapists, doctors, pain management. We engage all of them, making sure the patient knows the reason, because taking the, this addictive medications doesn't remove the pain, cause. They're still in pain. And if that young age they're starting, they saturate so soon, the receptors saturate so soon, and their future path is more, horrendous for them, looking at from the pain management point of view. So we always advise the patients to do non-pharmacological, holistic yoga, behavioral therapy change. If something is helping them, why not? As long as they do it under supervision in a moderate.
So it's interesting. It seems to me that the entire pain management is a much larger holistic approach. It's the engagement of counseling, engagement of the physicians, and understanding the age of the patient. Depending, for example, if you're over 60, as I said, the degenerative situations, the length that it takes for healing, and you have to deal with it. And you're right, in that case, why not use alternative methods like cannabis or acupuncture, which I believe now acupuncture is really working these days, correct?
Yes.
And I think, but now it all comes back to then why do we have so much opioid disorder that all of the physicians get blamed? Where does the responsibility start and end? Is there a conversation about that as well?
Diversion. Diversion is one reason why opioid crisis is existing, because let's say, for example, I had a case many years ago. This doctor prescribed opioid medication for this patient for cancer, and this caregiver was picking up. But then one morning, this doctor calls me and says, my prescription pad is stolen. These were the days where we did not have, electronic prescribing techniques. So do not accept any of my prescriptions. Anybody bringing prescription, that's not me. So diversion and abuse, dependence, and ecstasy reasons, that's the main reason for me. They're not really using it for the real reason and root cause of the pain management. So unfortunately, the people who really need for pain management are not able to access because of this diversion.
And it's interesting that in schools now, we have to face the fact that most of the staff need to be trained into using Narcan to actually help, which when you talk to them, the root again is pain. And they take different substances to deal with pain. What is your recommendation for the society as a whole? How do you think we should manage this?
As a society, definitely, especially for seniors, if your concern is, make sure if they have neuralgia from diabetes, make sure that is addressed. Use any antidepressants to bring down the pain sensitivity. Use an add-on therapy. Above that, beyond that, if they're still not able to manage pain, then we can introduce an opioid. But there are a lot of tools these days, a lot of studies have been done, a lot of equipment, a lot of certified healthcare providers that are capable of providing CBD or, acupuncture. We have acupuncture office in our facility. We do encourage. I have a patient who has sciatica. So she was in a lot of pain when she came to my clinic, a lot of pain on a lot of high doses of, even the antidepressant Lyrica, and she was on high doses of opioid. I told her, let's just give you this thing. It won't treat you. It won't get you away from sciatica pain, but it will help you minimize taking excessively these chronic medications. And she really liked it. She said one acupressure relieved her. Even applying the CBD oil topically relieved her, and she was using less of the pain med. Yes, it's a loss from pharmacy point of view, but I'm so happy I was able to empower her to manage the pain in non-pharmacological way.
That's fantastic. That's really nice. As one of the people that, again, I'm very involved in community and society and their needs, because we build for their needs, and we invest in companies that provide services like Vio Valley for the seniors, and the concern about the children of the adult is when they're not around, they're worried about their parents. And so we try to address that by providing a concierge service, by providing trusted advisors to come to the homes and take care of their elderly, their elders, as we recall. And we found that they are very, very keen to looking at options. And it seems to me that in pain management, we really need to keep an open mind and use all the tools, from physical therapy to using, holistic approach,
Anything,
counseling,
even sitting in a bathtub with an Epsom salt helps you, go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
just have a daily practice.
Get a daily massage. How about that?
Yes. Just having a family support also. Sometimes the mental anxiety, lack of empathy, for them the support can also aggravate anxiety and depression. That can also lead to pain triggers, right?
Yes.
And also, I don't judge my patients because they're an opioid or they need it. At that stage when they need it, they need it. But that said, have a regular practice that helps you minimize this pain sensitivity. That is the key point. Have the support system. We also do concierge medication therapy management. We come to their house in a holistic, in a collaborative comprehensive care, which means vaccines. For example, shingles. If seniors are not vaccinated against shingles, that's a very horrible pain to manage.
Yes.
So vaccination is still helpful. I believe that can protect them from a lot of neuralgia pain too. So shingles vaccine. Now there's an MMR outbreak. So do consult the doctors and see if you can get an MMR vaccine. Anything that can help them healthy, like Tdap. Sometimes seniors with simple whooping cough or an outbreak of severe respiratory infections have persistent cough. They can't manage the pain. Because of the anxiety. So all of these things can be managed with collaborative care from physicians, pharmacists, nurse care, teams like you.
Thank you. Some have this thought process that we really don't need to give medication for pain, and let's increase the pain tolerance of the patient. Do you think there's any truth to that, or that's actually just a myth?
May and may not, yes and no. Like, for example, for me, I get days where I just cannot function. Like, I do know the tools. I do practice yoga every day. I try to eat healthy, turmeric milk and all that. But there are days where I just cannot. It's just, my body is like, I give up. So what do? Like, I need, to take my pain anti-inflammatory pill and then an analgesia to, so that I can function. So yes and no, it requires a lot of willpower. I have read a lot of books where they say quantum energy in your body. Try to teach your body. But how can you tell a cancer patient like that? My aunt, she had both her breasts removed. Yeah. She has severe scar. And she's she's almost 70 now. I can't tell her, sit and do meditation. sit and have a turmeric. She needs help. She needs that Lyrica high doses, or she needs some opioid management. She needs everybody in the healthcare society to give her that comfort that she can move on.
Do you think there is new technology needed to bring in new tools for pain management?
We are still exploring. I think the healthcare system is still evolving. We are still learning. There are recently FDA approved a non-opioid pain management drug. I'm pretty excited. I want to see how that turns out. They're comparing it to an opioid type of therapeutic relief, but it's a non-opioid. It helps in relieving the peripheral pain, blocking the pain sensors going to the brain. And I also seen a lot of booths here that are trying to help mimic, trigger, diverse the pain signal. So they're all exciting pathways. Let's keep open-minded and let's learn from that.
I'm glad you said that about what we see in the booth at this conference. Exciting. A lot of red light.
Yes.
And it reminded me that my daughters, I think they really think that mom needs help. So I get every red light therapy tool that has been shipped to the house. from red light for my hair, from red light for my back.
Wrinkles.
And then I walked through the conference. I'm like, okay, this conference is lighting in red light.
I felt like disco lights all over.
Disco lights all over.
I'm ready to party. But that's good. Innovation is good. There's my philosophy in my house. I always tell my kids, failure is okay. At least it shows we have tried something new.
At least we're trying something new.
Yeah, as long as it's not overly abused, you go for it, try for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So we only have like about 7 minutes, but I wanted to know if anyone has any comments about pain management and any questions to our esteemed doctor here. If so, please step forward and let's discuss this. We lost a few minutes, but I'm just thrilled that I have such knowledge sitting next to me that we should discuss more.
And same here. Thank you, Manash. That's great sharing the stage with you. Hello.
I appreciate what y'all talking about because this is right up my alley. And so I was just wondering, I heard you using certain nutrition or such as like CBDs and stuff like that for like sciatica. I do massage therapy as well. So would you also suggest like just certain herbs and so forth that could also help with like stuff like sciatica pain management?
So you said you have sciatica?
No. I deal with people with sciatica.
Okay, with sciatica,
Yes.
and then they're on CBD already?
Some may be, but some aren't, because some are like allergic to it. But like, would you could you like suggest maybe some herbs or something that where they couldn't do the CBD, but they maybe can do some herbs or something like that? Would that?
She has more research on CBD. I would
Okay.
let her.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, I actually am an investor at a company called Royal Emerald Pharmaceuticals. And what we do is we research and we provide the raw material for the scientists extracted from cannabinoids, whether with THC or without, whether it's CBN, CBD, CBG. And Royal Emerald is one of the very few companies in the United States that has a federal license. And so if you want to develop a product and you want to file a patent or go to FDA, you will need Royal Emerald as your partner. And they will provide the raw material for you. They also have the capabilities of reproducing the cells at a bioreactor level, so it can be consistent for your research. And we work with researchers throughout the United States. We also have an export license, so we can send the products throughout the world. We work with Turkey, with Brazil, with Poland on different research. Now, coming back to your question. The research that we have, which is also posted on the NIH website, shows that, yes, there is definite effectiveness with CBN and CBG. Now, CBD is what everyone talks about, and you can, put it topical. But the fact that if you don't have enough THC in it, the neuropathic lines don't actually talk. So you need some THC, and that's where the problem starts. Because that's federally not approved, although that doesn't include us. We are federally approved. But the researchers, we are now working with them to show how much of THC can we add in without the hallucination, but create the chain of neuropathic communication to actually happen. And so to understand more, I actually studied at Cornell on medical cannabis, And it allowed me to really understand what an amazing plant we're dealing with. We are now also looking at psychedelics and to try to find out how much that would work, but it appears that that is more into your neurosystem of depression, but the CBD, THC, CBN, CBG, and many other CVNC, they all work for sciatic and the communication of nerve systems and muscle problems.
Nice, nice.
And from pharmacist's point of view, I always go with FDA approved line, but from pain management, like I have a whole spectrum, I monitor all stages of the patient. So using herbal products doesn't harm. You can try, but everything has to be consistent. At least make them, use for at least 3 months.
Okay.
And that will give them benefit. And it's always like, physical therapy. I always tell my patients, just like you take your car for service, also take your body to physical therapy. Somewhere or some point needs to be serviced in your body. Have the doctor send a prescription. Make sure your body is, aligned back again. Because a lot of times, as a pharmacist, for me, I didn't know. One of my kinesiologists told me my hip has a little bit of distortion years ago because I've been abusing my body at work. And that was creating spinal nerve and then my migraines. So the migraines are not pure migraines. It's coming from, distortion in my hip. So always service your body, so stay healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you for the great question.
Any other comments? Any questions? So, I want to expand on this conversation about how we are all looking for alternatives. Correct? When I had my fall and it resulted a major pressure on my neck, that's when everything started because I'm allergic toward codeine and anything that has codeine. And a lot of the medication they gave me was giving me so many allergic reactions, blisters, and all kind of problems. And that is why my husband and I started looking at alternative medicine and how we got involved into can we look at different options. And it seems to me that as we work with regulation and as we move forward with hopefully understanding the product better and scientists being able to get to the product so that they can do their research, we may have alternative products and allow us to get out of the greed of the pharmaceutical base right now because this is a multi-billion-dollar industry and it's very greed-focused. But what do you think about that, doctor?
Psychedelics is still, FDA a few months back still denied it. They're still, trying to look into more data because of the addiction problems and abuse and where it ends up because we lost even celebrities to psychedelics. So they're still cautious about recommending them. But I'm game for CBD oils. My friend has a knee surgery and she topically applies CBD oil. And I'm sorry about your, head injury, and I have patients who have codeine allergies. So in their situation, if alternative approach without overuse and abuse is helping them, but do monitor your blood work, make sure your liver is not impacted, be cautious of, what you, I always tell them to get certified companies like yours. You said you're listed on NIH, that is awesome. I would like to.
Oh yeah, you can definitely look up the site with NIDA and FDA. Royal Emerald is an approved federally licensed company. I'm not promoting the company, but if you're a scientist and you want to work on the products, definitely look them up or call me and I'll make sure that you contact our research team and you work with them. But it is important, I think, that we understand that actually marijuana is not an addictive product, and unlike codeine and heroin and morphine and others that you actually become addicted, the addiction is really not part of the plant process. But that took a long time of research to really establish that. And coming with new products is just amazing. And I think, does anyone know if there are any other new products that are coming in for pain management? Any of the doctors, the esteemed doctors in the room? Do you have any knowledge of any type of a phyto-based products? No, correct. So we're still really just focused on marijuana and cannabis, cannabinoids, and stuff like that. It's interesting. I mean, we're hanging our hat on red light therapy, and we're still hesitant about using natural plants. And I think we should really have an open mind and understand and work with the scientists and figure out what is that we can do to battle opioid disorder. Because as many of you know, I'm a real estate developer. One of the biggest problems that we have is the unsheltered communities that are now, basically encamping into the metropolitan areas. And the big issue is that they have mental health problems and they have addiction problems, and primarily caused by pain. And we are not addressing it properly. Just throwing them into an apartment or a house does not solve the problem.
No,
does
they
not
get
solve
worse.
the problem. And they actually also destroy the property as well, because they are not in the mindset to be able to live independently. So this is a very expensive, very tough situation for our communities. And I think if all of you doctors could come up with a new way of dealing with pain, you guys would be opening the Pandora's box to maybe the next billion-dollar unicorn.
Yeah, and also supporting healthcare, right, in a non-toxic, non-debilitating way for
Yes.
customers. So we want to make sure they have basic privileges. We want to make sure they are not dependent on it. We want to make sure that the families are also educated on how to manage them, So that's the key part here. So helping, supporting in every possible way. Pain management not just ends with the patient picking up at the prescription from the pharmacy. It starts in the house. It starts from, how the patient has been handled and educated and taken care. Sometimes the pain may not be the pain they're sensing. It could be something else triggering from. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
So, doctor, I have a question. When you get into a family gathering, does everybody come to you and ask you for medical advice?
No, I hide away. I take my hat off and I'm here to party. No, I would like to, sometimes my friends, but there's a lot of HIPAA compliance, so I tell them what happens in the pharmacy in Vegas stays there. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, but
And what is your advice for both? Let's segment this. We have about 4 minutes. So let me hear from you your advice on pain management for the younger generation and pain management for the older generation, if you can do that.
I mean, speak up. If you're in pain, speak up. Let the doctors know, let the family know. But take all the tools you need. If it is definitely a reason, definitely address the inflammation. Make sure they know how to manage the inflammation. That's the root cause that triggers a lot of pain. So that needs to be addressed. And we cannot perfectly correct anyone. There's no solution. Especially in pain management. It cannot completely go away. Let's say, for example, you had head trauma. You have no tool to use, right? Mm-hmm. You cannot take any FDA-approved prescription authorized by the doctor. Yeah. You cannot manage. So what do you do, right? So you're dependent on these tools. Mm-hmm. So you need a healthcare provider that can help you manage with those, non-FDA-approved or, other non-prescription drugs. So my advice is speak up, know the root cause. 100% treatment is not possible. Always be under the supervision of a certified healthcare provider, and always get your products. If you're using something non-FDA approved, make sure they are certified labels. Like as you said, you have NIH, right? I always like to look into clinical studies. I always like to see the data. So always make sure you're going to the products you're purchasing have some national recognition.
Great advice. So make sure that the products are safe, that they're manufactured in a GMP, CGMP facility within the regulations of the federal FDA or other agencies.
Absolutely, that's something that has the data. And if you're using polypharmacy, which means if you have complications, like seniors especially, they have a lot of complications. I always tell my patients we do free brown bag days, which means they can bring in the prescriptions. We also do virtual. They have to list all the products, not just the prescription drugs. That includes vitamins, supplements, minerals, anything else they're using intermittently, not necessarily every day. Even if they're using like twice a week for migraine, I need to know if you're using a CBD oil. So list everything else. So as pharmacists, we can help you. We can advocate for you. This might interact, or even sometimes the timing. Taking a good drug, wrong timing can be bad for your health. So we can help you what time you need to take that food, what time this supplement should be taken. So it doesn't, you need to have some efficacy also, right? Sometimes taking a pain medication at the wrong time with the wrong drug may not be efficient. So a lot of things, bad timing can be wrong too.
Bad timing can be wrong too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed this panel.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank
It's
you
been an
all.
amazing audience.
Doc.
Thank you. Thank you.
So wonderful.